Yes people, welcome back to another video. This is Champion 2D Rob back again. And yes, I know it's been a minute guys. Honestly, I've been so busy with work. I've just not been able to actually just sit down and make some content for the channel. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. All I want to do is just when I sit down at home, I watch TV, catch up on my shows. That's basically what I do when in my downtime. So apologies for that guys, but here I am. I should be pumping out a few videos, starting with this one. So this is gonna be a video response, and I got tagged by Clay, aka Claygraphics, and this is a video that's been doing the rounds in the community, and it's basically the top 5 most played games. So yes, thank you for that, Clay. I had to do it because you told me to. So here I am. So this is gonna be my top 5 most played games, and of course explain why they are my most played games. So starting with, and this is in no particular order guys, but I'm just gonna start with the first one here, and that is In the Hunt. In the Hunt, PlayStation 1. Also came out on the Saturn. It was originally an arcade game by Irem. This is a shooter, a horizontal shooter where you're in a submarine. And I just absolutely adore this game. Though I will admit, I don't actually play it much on the PlayStation. I actually play it digitally. I have it digitally on the Switch. And I think I have it as well on the PlayStation 4. So I'm always just jumping into this game. I just love it. I love playing it. I love the visuals of this game. It very much has that Metal Slug aesthetic style to it, because I do believe this game predates Metal Slug, and so it has that kind of very detailed, cartoony look to it that the Metal Slug games have, which I really love. Just beautiful 2D pixel art. And it's just a really fun game. I like, because it's a submarine shooter, so it kind of like, it isn't just like a space shooter, like, with some added water effects. Like, it does move a little bit more sluggish, but that's on purpose. You can fire above, like the ships above the water, as well as you can drop depth charges and you can fire rockets in front of you. It's just a really fun game. I love the level design of it. It's also a very hard game as well. I mean, I won't lie, I'm no good at it. I don't think I can get past like maybe like the 2nd or 3rd level. But it's just one of those games that I just enjoy playing. I'm sure that, if I put more time into it, I'd probably get better, because it really is just about memorizing the levels. But for me, I just like to pick up and play it. It's just one of those shooters I go back to a lot. And I think a lot of it does have to do with the visual look to it. Like, I just love detailed pixel art, like 32-bit style pixels. Just a beautiful looking game. And yeah, I love it to bits. So there we go. Next game, and this is a more modern title, and it just recently got a remake. Whether that remake was warranted or not is debatable, but here we are. But this game, I just love it to bits. I've played it so many times. It's one of those games that I go back to whenever I can't decide what to play, and that is The Last of Us Remastered. I should note as well that I'm just a big post-apocalyptic sort of zombie kind of guy. Like, I love those kind of movies. Well, they don't necessarily have to be about zombies, but I'm a big sucker for like post-apocalyptic worlds. So have any of you seen films like The Road? Like, I'm really into stuff like that. Like, I don't know why. Maybe I'm craving the end of civilization. I don't know. But yeah, I really dig this game. I just find it a lot of fun to play. I love the characters. I love the storyline. The voice acting in this game is phenomenal. Yeah, I just go back to it a lot. Yeah, so much. It's just, for me, I know there's going to be people out there that's going to say this game is overrated. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but for me, the reason I enjoy it so much is because of its setting. Of course, the acting's awesome. The gameplay's fine. I mean, like, I won't say that the actual gameplay itself is anything revolutionary, but it works really well, and it just plays really well for me, and I love it to bits. As for whether I will ever get the recently released remake, of course I will. Of course I will. When it's super cheap in CEX, like 20 quid or 10 quid. You know, that's when I'll pick it up, because as much as I love this game, and it is a fantastic game, and I'm sure that the remake has a lot of quality of life improvements. You know, there's not a doubt in my mind that I think the game is not great. Of course it is. But I'm not paying full price for the third time, because this is actually the second time I've bought this game. But in any case, you know, I do love this game. Massive fan of it, and I also really enjoy the sequel as well. I will say that the sequel I've only played it once, and the reason for that is, despite actually I really love the sequel, but the reason why I've not played it since is because I find that game to be very emotionally draining. It's a very depressing game, you know. I mean, this one is too, but like the second one just takes a lot out of you. So I don't find myself going back to it, but I don't necessarily think it's a weaker game. I know a lot of people do, but I personally really enjoyed it, because it actually resolved a lot of the answers that I had after finishing this game. It kind of answered a lot of those things that I had, things I was hoping would get answered in the sequel, and they did that after the end of this game. So, but yeah, love this game, guys. Amazing. Moving on, and this game is for the Super Nintendo, and I know you guys have heard me talk about this game before. It's just such an important game for me because I grew up with the Mega Drive, and which I absolutely loved. I don't regret it one bit. Loved the Mega Drive, but I actually was a Nintendo kid originally. I had a NES, was actually my first ever console, but I moved on to the Mega Drive because I got swayed by the lure of Sega's mascot Sonic. That game was a revelation to me, and at that time the Super Nintendo wasn't even out yet, so I didn't really know what to expect from the Super Nintendo, so I couldn't hold on, so I ended up getting a Mega Drive. But of course, when the Super Nintendo came out, I had friends that had Super Nintendos, and one of the games that a lot of my friends had for some reason was this one, and that is Super Probotector Alien Rebels, also known as Contra 3. And this game, when I played it at my friend's house, I just fell in love with it. So much so that I was seriously contemplating begging my mum for a Super Nintendo, even though I knew I didn't have a chance in hell, because Super Nintendo games as well at that time was very expensive, and I actually used to buy a lot of used Mega Drive games. I did have a few that I bought from new, but most of the times I would just buy used ones and then trade them in and buy other games. And Super Nintendo games were just very expensive, even if they were used. But this was a game that I actually got to play a lot on the Super Nintendo, despite not owning one. A friend of mine was kind enough to loan me his system. Like, I would swap, like I'd loan him my Mega Drive and he'd loan me his Super Nintendo with a bunch of his games. And this was probably the game that I played the most, and I still adore it to this day. And it was because of my love of this game that when they announced Probotector for the Mega Drive, for everyone else that's Contra Hardcore, like, I bought that game first week of release because I had to have it, and that game did not let me down. I absolutely love that game as well. But this is the one that really started it for me. I just love the 2D run and gun action of it. The level design, it's just amazing. And but I will admit, again, I'm completely shite at this game. I cannot get anywhere in this game unless I do the 30 live cheat code. But I still adore it. Like, this is just one of those games I never get tired of. I always put it on a lot, and because there's actually the Contra collection on modern consoles, I always tend to play it on that nowadays. But yeah, love this game. And you know, I will also say that while I do nowadays play Contra 3 obviously the American version of this game. I have a soft spot for this European version because there are some visual differences, which I do like to go back to from time to time, even though I do admit the American version, just because it runs at 60 Hertz, it's just a lot better. But I still enjoy very much the visual look of this one in particular. And of course the nostalgia factor is just massive for me. But yeah, love Super Probotector. What a game. I mean, everyone raves about their Zeldas and their Marios and all that, but for me the Super Nintendo was about this game, and yeah, love it to bits. And next game here, and this is gonna come as no surprise for a lot of you, because I think I've said it enough in a lot of videos about what I think of this game, and it's just such an important game for me. It's still the standard. I still hold it in very high regard, and I still play a lot. It has not wavered in the 30 years now since it came out. Absolutely adore this game. For me, it's practically perfect. But the game I'm talking about is, of course, Streets of Rage 2. Yes, love this beat 'em up. This one is... I'm actually amazed that a console beat 'em up, a 16-bit console beat 'em up, I rank up there with some of the best arcade beat 'em ups. I mean, sure, you know, graphically it's not as good as some of its arcade counterparts, but this game just had everything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, visually for the Mega Drive, this is an amazing looking game. But the gameplay, level design, difficulty curve, you know, its length, it's just for me, it's just an amazingly well put together game. It does not outstay its welcome. You know, great level design, great characters, awesome music. I mean, how could I forget that? The music's fantastic. It's just such a brilliant game. Absolutely adore it. Still play it so much to this day. It's never wavered. The only thing I will say though is that nowadays I can't play it on the Mega Drive because nowadays I'm so used to playing it at 60 Hertz. I can't go back to this one, but it still gets played regardless. It is just an amazing title, and I'm sure you guys know. I know a lot of people have picked this one. I was actually just watching Ali, 16 Bits and Bobs. I was just watching his video before I made this one, and he was talking about it. But yeah, what a game. And I loved it as a kid. It's never wavered. I would say this is probably my #1 game of all time. I actually played it a few weeks ago. You know, I just put it on. Sometimes I play like maybe 2 or 3 levels, and other times I'll just go all the way through it. Just amazing game, fantastic, absolutely love it. And finally, guys, my #1 game. Well, #1, obviously no particular order here. I'm not saying this is my favorite game or anything, but it's just one game I always go back to, and the game is... I don't own it. I don't own a physical copy of it, but I have it digitally, so I'll put something here for you to see. But yeah, probably my most played game, I will say this, is Shock Troopers, the Neo Geo top-down run and gunner. That is one of my most played games. I love playing Shock Troopers. Again, I love the visual look of it. It's just so detailed. Just love the 2D graphics on it. It's got great gameplay. I love the levels. I love the branching paths. It is just an amazing game for me, and I play it a lot. It is probably, outside of Streets of Rage 2, the one that I just love putting on when I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do. I don't know what to play. I just put on Shock Troopers. So much fun, really is. I mean, there are loads of top-down run and gunners that I really do enjoy. Like, I really like Mercs. What else is there? You know, there are loads, but I don't know. I think Shock Troopers for me just has that it factor. Just has something about it just that I love so much. And I also have the sequel, But the only thing about the sequel is they kind of changed it a little bit graphically, and it kind of lost a bit of its charm. Still a very good game though, but I still feel the first one is the best, and yeah, I just love it to bits. So that is it, guys. That is my top 5 most played games. Now, I know I was supposed to tag someone after each game, but I couldn't figure out 5 people to tag because most of the people I would have chosen have already been chosen. So I've got 3 people, and I'm not even sure if they've been tagged already or not, but I'll just bring them up here. First person I'm going to tag is Owen Lebossu. I would love to see your top 5 most played games, mate. So please let me know. Make a video. I would love to see it. Second person I would like to tag is Alex Blutonic. I would like to see your top 5 favorite games, mate. I know you've been out of the scene a little bit. You haven't made content in a while, but I would love to see your top 5 games. And the last person I'd like to tag is Scott, Sega Saturn lad. I know he's going to have some good games there, so I would love to see your response as well, mate. So there we go. 3, I know it's not 5, but I couldn't really think of 5 that people had already been chosen. So there we go. I've got 3 people here to tag. And yeah, so thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I will, of course, carry on watching a few more video responses. I've watched a few already, but I'm going to try and watch a few more because there's been loads. So it's been so hard trying to catch up with everyone's videos. It really has. But I'm doing my best, guys. Anyway, I will see you next time. It shouldn't be too long. Bye-bye.